If you are somebody who struggles regularly with generalized anxiety, you have full blown panic attacks from time to time, you get overstimulated and just feel like you're going crazy in grocery stores or in public places, you're not crazy and you're not alone. And it's not always just psychological. A lot of the people that I work with who struggle with things like anxiety, panic attacks, OCD, overstimulation, have a lot of underlying physiological things going on that are triggering the anxiety and panic attacks. So, this video, I'm going to explain to you how the brain works, your neurotransmitters, how anxiety and panic attacks are physiological and what you can do about it, and some of the key things I look for when I'm working with somebody who has an ongoing issue with anxiety and panic attacks. So, I struggled with anxiety and panic attacks since my early 20s. I remember the first time I ever had one. The difference between anxiety and panic attacks are usually like a very extreme full blown episode of adrenaline, cortisol, blood sugar dysregulation, your blood pressure's going crazy, like everything's happening. Anxiety is more of a generalized state of being. So you are an anxious person, you worry a lot, where panic attacks, there's a lot of physiological things happening. So, first time I ever had this was in my early 20s. And back then, it wasn't really talked about as much as it is today. I also didn't know any of the stuff that I know now about integrative health, nutrition, functional medicine. And I started seeing therapists, I started seeing doctors. Some people tried to prescribe me anti-anxiety medications. Some tried to give me antidepressants. OBGYNs and hormone specialists wanted to put me on birth control because they were convinced I had a hormone problem. Everybody was essentially telling me I was a high stress person who needed to see a therapist, and then I needed to go on some sort of prescription to fix it. I'm a purist at heart and I don't like taking medicine, so I didn't take either of those. I did end up going to a therapist, did some cognitive behavior therapy, which helped some, but nothing really moved the needle. Eventually, some of that started to subside, but it was always this lingering thing of anxiety. Then, fast forward to my early 30s, and we'll get into all the dots of what was happening. And I started having anxiety and panic attacks again, which wasn't really making any sense because most of the time, what you hear about anxiety and panic attacks is it's stress, it's psychological, it's low self esteem, it's worrying all the time. That's what the problem is. None of that made any sense for what I was dealing with, though, in my 30s. By this time, I've been in the health and wellness industry for years and years and years. So when it started happening and then it's like showing up in my sleep, I was like, something really weird is going on. Like, why am I getting anxiety and panic attacks when I walk in a grocery store? Why, when it gets rainy or cloudy, does my head feel weird? Like, what is going on? Something is happening. And I hear this from a lot of my clients is at first a lot of people are ashamed or they're embarrassed of it or they have to use alcohol to calm themselves down. And I'm going to explain why that helps you with all of this as well. But I think the common misconception for anybody dealing with any kind of thing like OCD, anxiety, and panic attacks is you're not crazy. A lot of times, yes, there is a psychological component, but there's also usually a very strong physiological component that contributes to anxiety and how neurotransmitters are produced. So, some of the top things I see as physiological components that can contribute to mental health system, nervous system dysregulation is number one, chronic toxicity, heavy metals, and mold. Both of these are neurotoxic. What that means is that they infiltrate the blood brain barrier and they impact the way the nervous system is regulated. It creates high levels of inflammation in the brain. It also disrupts the neurotransmitter production. So, your neurotransmitters, we have serotonin, your happy hormone, which SSRIs, anti anxieties, impact that. But then we have other things that impact GABA, which is your calming hormone. But then we have glutamate, we have dopamine, we have all these neurotransmitters that have a very delicate balance. When something like mold toxicity or heavy metal toxicity or something environmental gets in there, it impacts and shifts a lot of that chemistry in the brain and screws up the neurotransmitter balance. So, a lot of times, what can happen is With mold toxicity is you're dealing with high levels of glutamate. Glutamate is that very excitatory neurotransmitter and not enough GABA. This is why a lot of people, when they get anxious, they take a shot of alcohol because alcohol upregulates GABA. Glutamate and GABA are kind of a similar pathway. They need one, you need to get rid of the neurotoxicity, which we'll get to later. But two, you need enough B6, vitamin B6, to make sure the conversion is happening to GABA. So when somebody's like, man, when I get anxious or social anxiety, or I get nervous or struggle with anxiety and I can't go to sleep or whatever it might be, when I take a shot of alcohol or I have wine, all of a sudden my brain feels better. It's because that alcohol is impacting your GABA levels and calming you down. The reason, obviously, it's dangerous is because it does make you dependent on alcohol and it's not actually addressing the root cause. So, that's one of the things is a lot of times there's a vitamin B6 deficiency that's going on. I see this a lot too with women and PMS or perimenopause or PMDD. A lot of times, if we focus on getting enough of the B vitamins, especially making sure it's the right form, they end up noticing huge symptom reliefs. Now, the other thing that goes with this too is the mineral magnesium. Magnesium is a huge GABA regulator. Magnesium has like over 300 different things that it helps function in the body. One of the things that it does is it helps flush out inflammation, it helps with nerves, it helps with neurotransmitter production, it helps with glucose stability, which we're getting to next. So magnesium and B vitamins are huge, and most people, because magnesium and B vitamin, those are your water soluble nutrients. You have other water soluble nutrients. That means that it's very hard for your body to store that. We sweat it out, we pee it out. So we're constantly getting depleted. That if you're not replenishing that, it is very easy to get depleted in those where you're not having the normal regulation, which happens if you are highly active. I can almost guarantee your B vitamins are off and your magnesium is off. If you're high stressed, if you're a high performer, small business owner, entrepreneur, just a very active individual, you probably need a much higher amount of those minerals and vitamins than your average person. So, the other thing that happens with a lot of people that are dealing with anxiety and panic attacks or any kind of like just overstimulation and nervous system dysregulation is they're underfueling. They are not getting enough protein and they're not getting enough complex carbohydrates. Why does that matter? Protein is full of amino acids. Your brain needs enough of the amino acids to convert things like tryptophan, glutamine, all these things into your neurotransmitter production. Now, it's kind of a big web because in order for those amino acids to get converted, you have to have enough of the right vitamins and minerals to do that, the cofactors. But people are under consuming protein, and I hear all the time, I'm doing cleanses. I do my special juice every morning. I'm fasting. I'm intermittent fasting. I'm going to try the carnivore diet. And it's like, that's great, but the body runs on all of your macronutrients. Your body needs protein, your body needs complex carbohydrates, and your body needs fats, healthy fats, omega 3s. So when you are under fueling in protein, you're not getting enough of the amino acids to help with brain neurotransmitters, cognition, but also glucose helps with serotonin production. I have several people right now in my practice who I work with who have been on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications for a very long time. And in my practice, what I do is we always start with foundations. At the root of almost every chronic health issue, in my experience, is usually some sort of chronic infection, under fueling. So you're doing low carb, keto, fasting, whatever. You're not getting enough protein, carbs, and fats for the body to work optimally. You're micronutrient deficient, so vitamins and minerals. And you've got some gut health going on that is impacting everything because of the gut brain axis. So I have several clients right now in my practice who have been on these medications for a very long time. And then when we look at their nutrient intake, doing a nutritional analysis, they're not getting nearly enough protein and carbohydrates. This is true across the board. And every single person thinks like, oh, I eat protein, I get plenty of protein. And then when I have them start working on this, they're only getting 60 to 80 grams of protein a day, which is not enough, especially if you're active. But then on top of that, especially with women, When you're not getting enough complex carbohydrates, there is not enough glucose to help with blood sugar stability, to help with hormone production. And by the way, everybody who's struggling with low testosterone or think they have testosterone issues, testosterone is very sensitive to your fuel intake. If you go too low carb, I can't share these, but the amount of men and women who tell me, I think I'm struggling with low testosterone. I think I'm having issues with my hormones. I feel like my cortisol is off. My sleep is off. I always ask, are you doing keto, low carb, fasting, carnivore, anything like that? And usually they are, or they're not getting enough of these nutrients. So you need balanced nutrition, protein, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats full of omega 3s to help with that brain regulation, neurotransmitter production, and just overall stability. So with the clients that I've had who have been on anti-anxiety, antidepressant medications for a long time, when we get to the root cause, whether it's a chronic toxic infection from mold toxicity or heavy metals, and we get rid of that so it stops infiltrating the brain, but also when we fix their nutrition and get them some targeted nutrients to replenish where they have some deficiencies, they're able to either completely come off those medications or come way down where they hardly ever need it. The same is true with thyroid. A lot of people dealing with Hashimoto's, a lot of people dealing with hypothyroidism, functional hypothyroidism. It is usually a problem with chronic inflammation driven by some sort of toxicity or food issue, which I talk about in other videos, a micronutrient deficiency, poor gut health, and not eating enough of the right protein and carbohydrates. Like most of the foundations come back to that. If you're dealing with anxiety and panic attacks, there's a couple things that I would recommend. Number one, if you would like to work with me to get to the root cause of what's driving those things, I have all that in the description of this video. You can set up a one-on-one root cause consultation. We will deep dive, help you get to the root of it, and come up with a personalized nutrition, targeted nutrient supplement, any kind of testing you might need planned for you. But the first few things I would look at is you need to figure out your macronutrients. Are you fueling enough protein, carbs, and fat for neurotransmitter production? Number two, do you have any chronic toxicity going on with heavy metals or mold toxicity? I typically use the mycotoxin urine test. It is available that you can order it, take it at home, and ship it back. By the way, whether it's heavy metal or mold, mold is the thing you take care of first. I have a lot of people that are like, I think it's heavy metal. I'm like, great. But if you have mold going on as well, mold trumps that and is going to be the first thing we take on because that is going to bottleneck everything. So if you have some sort of neurotoxicity going on, that can cause anxiety, panic attacks, mental health problems. Do you have some micronutrient deficiencies going on? Are you consuming food sensitivity triggers? In the other video I said eggs, dairy, gluten, nuts, soy. These are the top ones in my experience that cause a lot of inflammation and immune activation in a lot of my clients. Try eliminating those things. A lot of these things really just come down to the foundations of health. I would challenge you though, if you are somebody who struggles with anxiety and panic attacks and OCD or anything like that, do some testing or set up a consultation. Let's get to the root cause because, in my experience, and even in my own personal journey of dealing with anxiety and panic attacks, it wasn't really psychological. It was physiological that was impacting my brain's ability to function optimally. And if that's your case, I would love to help you get some relief from this, identify what's driving the imbalance, and then help you correct that naturally. So check out the description. All the resources, books, consults you can set up are all there. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. I respond to all these personally, and I will see you in the other videos.